Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today you will be watching me as I work on my piece. I've named it Siren, and it is my piece for Mermay 2020. And I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk about how I struggle as an artist. I have considered myself an artist since I was in high school. I've been drawing art very badly since high school, and I always felt like I wasn't good enough to be considered an artist, especially when I first started, which I guess anyone who's starting in art would feel that way. But I luckily and unluckily was surrounded by a lot of people who were amazing at art. In general, they set the bar really high for me, and I struggled and continue to struggle with comparing myself to those people. It wasn't anything that these artists did that made me compare myself to them. It's just the eternal struggle of artists is to compare yourself to other people that you deem better at art than you, even though they may be making something completely different than you, or maybe they've just been doing it longer or anything like that. So I struggled with that a lot, especially when I was younger. I still struggle with it now, but I'm more aware of it, so I like to think that I've at least grown a little bit. I've always known that I wanted to be an artist, and I always knew that I would work hard to be one. Life definitely has gotten in the way of where I thought I would be at this time, but I have always considered myself an artist. I still do today, and I'm now actively pursuing art as maybe not a career necessarily, but as part of who I am. When I was in high school, I did art all the time. I did it in my free time. I did it during classes after I would finish assignments, and I would do it when I was hanging out with my friends. I have pieces of art that I did on road trips that actually turned out freaking amazing despite the bumpiness of the road. And it was just, I was constantly creating art all the time, and I made progress during that time, even though I wasn't really taking any art classes in high school. I didn't think that I needed them at that time. I don't know why I thought that. That was a foolish thought from me, but it is how I felt. I ended up going to college to study fashion design, but I spent my first few years in college taking a lot of traditional art classes. I took, the basics. I took figure drawing. I did a lot of painting. I fell in love with charcoal drawings, and I really wish that I still did more of those. And I do think that I am going to set up a space in my house that I can do a charcoal drawing and not create a complete mess. When I was in college, that was when I really started considering myself an artist, and I started to refer to myself as an artist and a fashion designer. Unfortunately, during that time in school, I was rarely able to do any art that wasn't for an assignment or, getting your daily sketches in for your monthly sketchbook checks, or working on croquis for fashion design classes. Everything that I did while I was in college was pretty centered around my school assignments, and though that was great because I was being able to be artistic and really focus on that part of it, I do think that it kind of set me up for, after I was out of college, to not continue with that if I wasn't actively doing that as my job. So when I got married and I got a day job doing non-art related things, I actually struggled to create art. I didn't have a focus or a clear direction on where I was going to go as an artist. I ended up getting married to my husband, who has been an amazing supporter of my art and my passions and what I want to do with my life as far as art is concerned. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know if I would be even where I am now in my artist journey. Right after we got married, I took a job to go work a Ren fair and get that experience, because it was sort of what I wanted to be doing with everything that I had learned in fashion design. Is I wanted to make costumes, and I still want to make costumes, but I was able to get the experience of running a booth and doing that side of it, and that was a really great experience for me. Once that experience was over, I did get a regular day job that unfortunately started really taking a toll on me. I took a job, I was lucky enough to get a job dispatching for private ambulances, and I have to say that I really was passionate about helping people. I am still passionate about helping people. Saying that I was in the past tense is not an accurate statement. I am passionate about helping people. But unfortunately, the environment that was cultivated within that office was so toxic and terrible that it really started to take its toll on me mentally, and I struggled to feel creative. And I also, not realizing it, I actually fell into a depression that I wasn't able to get out of until months after I left that position. But during my time as a dispatcher, I really started to focus on my art again. So even though I wasn't feeling as creative, I really started to think about what I wanted to do with all of this time that I had spent creating myself as an artist, and then also my passion to continue to create. And that was really, really sparked by the YouTube art community, and that's the reason I'm here on YouTube now, is that the artists here, they just really reignited my passion, and I wanted to be able to share my art. And for a couple of years now, I have wanted to be making art videos and creating art for YouTube and doing this part of it, and I have definitely struggled to find the time and the ability to do it, which would be why my uploads are very few and far between at this point. But I'm hoping that I can begin working on uploading at least one video a month and sharing my passion for art with people out there, and people will be able to see it. If it wasn't for the art community here on YouTube, I would not have done my first convention, tabled at my first convention, and I would not be creating art like I am now. This piece of art would probably not exist because I would have just given up, but I had a need and a want to create it, so I actually made myself sit down and do the drawing and do the outlining and the planning and the creating and everything, and I am so happy with the way that it turned out, even though there's definitely things that could have been done better. If it wasn't for this community, I would definitely not be here. But I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling to create art. I'm still struggling to figure out how to balance my life and my passion for art. Part of the problem is I think I keep trying to take off more than I can chew. I tried to do Inktober 2019 and I got one day in, and then, life happened and I didn't do any more. At the end of March, I was like, I'm going to do Mermay. I'm going to draw a mermaid every single day. And this piece that you're watching here is the only one that I got done. It's the only mermaid piece that I got done in the month of Mermay, but I am really proud of myself for finishing this, for creating a full piece of artwork and making sure that I completed this passion project, because it means I'm taking the steps to become the artist that I want to be. And I'm hoping that next month I will have a beautiful piece of art to share with you. Maybe I'll have more than one piece of art, I don't know, but at least one. And I know that I will continue to struggle to create art, and that's okay. It is okay for me to not be progressing as fast as I want to be progressing. It is okay for me to be struggling. It is okay to be dealing with artist block. It's okay for me to be struggling to make art. It's okay for you to be struggling to make art. As long as we're following our passions, we're gonna do great.